Hey, what's up, y'all? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. So, congratulations to Clint Capella, 2 years, 46 mil. I've heard some people say they thought that was a little much. It's an extension with the Atlanta Hawks. I don't think that at all. I don't. Just like I didn't think too much of Rudy Gobert getting the Supermax. Those are not bad contracts. I think a lot is said about the three-point line. This is the problem with the three-point line, y'all. Even though I love the era we're in, I love the fact that guys can shoot. What gets lost is that there are other things that need to be considered, like a very, very, very tall, high energy level, durable guy who can block shots and rebound at an all-star level. You need that. You can't win no championship without that. Now, does that need to be the best player on your team? No, definitely not. You need other guys to be the best player on your team. But that person's value, especially if they're super durable, is not to be undermined. Now, I don't believe Clint Capella is super durable. I would reserve that for Rudy because I think he is super durable. Has been healthy for about 3-4 seasons straight, it seems, if I'm not mistaken. Clint had an injury previously before getting to Atlanta that kept him out. Houston Rockets traded him, and he was, going to a bad team in that trade. So what I thought was happening is exactly what happened. The Atlanta Hawks did not activate him upon trading him, and they just kind of let him rehab throughout that year, and then brought him in at the beginning of last year. And look what the team ended up being. Upon his arrival, now a lot of things happened, right? The Atlanta Hawks got a lot better in a lot of areas. But the most important thing that changed between the Hawks being a team that can't win more than 25 games to the team that was in the Eastern Conference Finals is the presence of Clint Capella. That was the most important difference. This guy's that good. He averages 14 rebounds. I think 15 points, 14 boards was what he averaged last year. He shoots like 58% because he's dunking everything. He's a good free throw shooter. And he was one of my guys that I picked. I'm a Leo, so my mind is always going to go to try to give myself some kind of props. But he was one of those people that I was looking at in the draft. That year I was very much involved, even looking at second round pick guys just for whatever reason. I think that year the Lakers had a draft pick that was high and a bunch of second round picks as well. So I was paying attention to everybody. And Clint Capella was a guy that I said, oh, they got him going in the second round. I would not have any problem drafting him with my pick at the back of the first round. And I said that night. And it was limited footage. But what I saw, and this is one of my favorite sequences in all of basketball, was a guy that can block a shot on one end, speed down the floor, and be the first guy on the other end of this court to make the play scoring the basketball. I don't see that too often at the time. Now, since we've had a lot of players who can do it now, this is a different world entirely with all the athletes that are big and can move now. But at that time, that was still something you're searching for because you couldn't really find it very often. And he could do it. And I said, oh man, this dude is something else. Like they're drafting him as if he's a second round guy. And what I see here is a first round guy. I see a guy whose value is just wrong. Like just completely wrong. And I was right. I was so right. And I would have drafted Clint Capella. Now, if I should have taken him in the first round, I don't know. Because it's not about what their actual value is, it's about what their market value is. And the market value of a second round draft pick is just that. So even if, let's say, I know he's going to turn to Clint Capella and I got like the 8th pick in the draft, if I take Clint Capella, even if I know what he turned into, trust you me, that was a bad decision. Why? Because I can take Clint Capella later and get something else now. So don't get it twisted. I know the difference. But the point is, I picked him. I picked the guy, and I knew he was going to be good, and he is. He has made himself into one of the more reliable defensive and rebounding centers in basketball. He makes your team better. Look at what happened to Houston when he left. Have they been right ever since? Now, y'all know, with that being said, I love today's Houston Rockets, one of my favorite teams in all of basketball. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how they looked after he left. Horrible. They couldn't get it together. They could not get it together at all without a center. And most importantly, without that center. So I understood why they had to trade him. Because, they had Chris Paul and James Harden on contract. And then, of course, those guys are max guys. He was also signed to a $100 million contract. So when you have 3 max guys on your contract, you cannot get better. And they were at a logjam. They were at a space where they couldn't get to the level they wanted to get to, and they needed to create some cap space, and they weren't going to trade either one of those 2 guys. So Clint Capella was the only guy they could trade. My thing was they should at least bring back some type of center in his stead, and they decided to do away with the center position entirely. It's one of the main things that you know Daryl Morey for, GM of the Philadelphia 76ers. But anyway, at this point, he's found a home. He's been great with the Atlanta Hawks. They are an ascending basketball team. I think there's an argument to be made that they are the deepest team in all of the NBA this season. I really believe that's a chance they are. It's a chance. And he is going to be right there in a position to benefit from it. He has plenty of backups, lots of bigs on that team. And he's going to be relied upon to do what it is that he does. They put him in positions to do his thing. They're not asking him to do stuff he can't do, shoot the ball and all that nonsense. But they understand his value. They understand his value. And with Trae Young now having a legitimate facilitator in his lineup, picking up that young kid that they got in the second round, the point guard, I think Clint Capella and the other bigs on this team, other offensive players, everybody on the team stands to benefit from that. One of the problems that the Atlanta Hawks had, even in the midst of all of their success, is they didn't always have cohesive basketball play last year. They got Rondo on the team in hopes of making that happen. It did not work. And Trae Young is a shoot-first guy. Even though he gets assists, we know he's a super-duper star. He has never been accused of being the best floor general. Now, he's getting better, and he's still very young, but I think the presence of another facilitator will help the players who are on the team right now have more opportunities to score the ball easier. And I think that makes them a much better basketball team. So take a look at Clint Capella's numbers. I expect them to increase with the presence of facilitation now in that roster. It's going to be very, very, very good for them. They got guys like DeLon Wright, too. I forgot the name of the guy that they drafted in the second round. I never remember homie's name, but he's one of those guys where once you do understand who he is, you ain't going to forget it. He has very, very, very great game. He's going to have to learn how to score a little more, but as far as one of them pass-first guys, yeah, they got him one. And that's the thing, the Hawks keep drafting great. They drafted Jefferson as well. He blew up in the summer league. That's another power forward they got, another big that they can use. They still have, their backup power forward as well, coming back from injury that they drafted in the first round last year. So Atlanta has so many bigs that will help Clint Capella. I don't look at it as a logjam for the center position. Maybe for the power forward, but not center. So, yeah, it's a good spot for him. Contract, it's hefty, but it's only for 2 years. That's the good thing about it. I mean, even if, let's say you say, oh my God, I don't want to pay this guy $26 million next year. It's an expiring contract. Someone will take it. So, and that's not something you'll have to worry about, because it's not like you're going to want to let go of him at all. But just for the sake of having conversation, you always want to make sure that you have some way out of a contract. You don't want to get stuck with an albatross of a contract. And I don't think a healthy Clint Capella isn't living up to this value. I know he is. He led the league in rebounds last year, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to live up to it. So, that's what I got, man. Thank y'all for watching. He's still a young guy, by the way. He's not old. I think he's only like 25, something like that. So, this is perfect for Atlanta. Thank y'all for watching. My name is BDL44. I'm out.